Top stories making the headlines. Ethiopia's long-hand diplomacy helps liberate Africa. Ethio Telecom posts 26% revenue growth in half year. Yes, sir. Hello and welcome to BC World. I'm Asgard Umatnafu with the hour's updates. Foreign Affairs State Minister Musgano Araga met with Chinese business delegation led by the Vice Chairperson of the Department of International Relations of China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, Zhang Zhougang. During the meeting, the State Minister briefed the business delegation on various trade and investment opportunities in Ethiopia. He said Chinese businesses should come and invest in Ethiopia in the agro-processing, chemicals and fertilizers, and steel manufacturing sectors, among others, is to further cement the always strategic partnership recently announced by the two countries in the wake of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's visit in October 2023. The State Minister said Ethiopia has become an important investment destination for China, whereas China is a major source of investment and a key trading partner for Ethiopia. The Vice Chairman, on his part, congratulated Ethiopia for recently joining the BRICS family. He expressed China's readiness to promote more trade and investment cooperation with Ethiopia in the future. Yes, sir. The State Minister of Finance, Samarta Soaso, consulted with Bart Vegard and Jacob Granit, a Director General of Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, and the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA, respectively. The core funding from Norway exceeds $100 million annually, both bilaterally and multilaterally. The Ethiopian side expressed its commitment to combat climate change and especially appreciated the support of people and government of Norway in our endeavors for realizing a low-emission and climate-resilient economic development. SIDA support in Ethiopia 2022/23 reached $72 million, both for development and humanitarian needs. Both officials announced the future directions of their governments and stressed Ethiopia's strategic importance and historical ties, but also expressed their concern about the global geopolitical challenge, which make cooperation efforts difficult. Ethiopia's progress and prosperity hinge to a considerable extent on cooperation with neighbors and other through diplomacy. For diplomacy to gain even stronger footholds, the nation needs to tap into artistic ways of narrating success in the field, says Zalika Gassasa, renowned Ethiopian reggae artist, expressing grave disappointment with the fact that the bulk of the nation's diplomatic history has not yet been artistically chronicled. Zalika, also a facilitator of public diplomacy, argues that his soon-to-be released The Children of Nile could put a footprint in efforts geared towards changing this reality. Ethiopia's long voyage in diplomacy must be investigated and backed up by scientific methods, said Zalika as he was talking to Ethiopian press agency. The topmost priority for Ethiopia's diplomacy is easily reaching the 700 to 800 million young Africans who are thought to enjoy reggae, Gassasa underlined. To make matters worse, only a small portion of society is even aware of documented diplomacy, and most significant diplomatic events that Ethiopia has encountered are unknown to the general public, he said. In the meantime, the singer underlined that to close the gap in promoting Ethiopia's diplomatic history, it's imperative that the culture of history telling be fostered and that contemporary exhibitions and awareness-building initiatives be organized. In Gassas's style, lyrics are sang in both Amharic and English, with a spattering of Jamaican patois mixed in as well. This unique music results in pleasing signature and which has gathered him a fiercely loyal following. The artist appealed to other musicians and artists to teach in for nations' diplomacy to reach new heights. Despite mounting competitive pressures, Ethiopia's state-owned telecom provider, Ethio Telecom, has defied foreign currency shortage to report a 26% annual revenue increase, reaching 42.9 billion baht. Compared to the same period last year, the revenue shows an 8.86 billion baht increment. The profit surge comes on the back of strategic digital innovations and infrastructure expansions. Ethio Telecom registered these standout performance even amid rising competition after the entry of Safaricom into the Ethiopian market. Unveiling the first half year of 2023/24 results, Ethio Telecom CEO Frihot Taimuru attributed the success to providing affordable new and revamped products and services and providing various mobile, finance and digital services. According to her, several key drivers ignited Ethio Telecom's standout performance. Extensive infrastructure optimization through network upgrades, enhanced reliability and customer loyalty with 4G population coverage reaching 340,000.
We are in Sahara.
Smile.
Agadir is the best destination to head to when it comes to enjoying the sun and the sea. With its miraculous climate, providing a minimum of 300 days of sunshine a year, and its 10-kilometer-long beach, Agadir has all you need for a great seaside holiday. Agadir is a member of a private club that is part of the world's most beautiful bays. It contains a marina which can receive several hundred pleasure boats. It is also one of the country's biggest surfing hotspots, has plenty of wildlife spotting opportunities, and is ideally situated to enjoy a number of fun excursions. Souk al-Hud. The Sunday Souk. Souk al-Hud of Agadir. The city of Agadir has one of the biggest and most wonderful souks in Morocco, an authentic traditional market that perpetuates the legacy of the country's commercial squares. Crocodile Park, Agadir. Just southeast of Agadir, Croco Park is one of Morocco's most unusual and popular attractions, a botanical park that's home to more than 300 Nile crocodiles.
Ethiopia's historical significance and international diplomacy has brought significant change in Africa and around the world. Ethiopia's long-standing diplomacy enabled African nations to free from slavery and secure political and economic change. Gosha Meliso takes it from here.
Ethiopia's historic role in international diplomacy highlights its early engagement with international law in its fight against colonialism. 100 years ago, on 28 September 1923, Ethiopia joined the fledgling League of Nations, becoming the third African country to do so after the then Union of South Africa and Liberia, with the difference being that Ethiopia was an independent nation, never under the domination of a foreign power. Ethiopia's long-standing diplomatic efforts have played a crucial role in shaping the trajectory of Africa, leading to impactful changes across the continent and beyond. One notable aspect of Ethiopia's diplomatic endeavors is its pivotal role in championing the cause of freedom from slavery and facilitating significant political and economic transformations for African nations. Ethiopia, with its rich historical and cultural heritage, took a proactive stance to address the issue of slavery that plagued the African continent. Through diplomatic channels and alliances, Ethiopia has collaborated with other nations to raise awareness, advocate for human rights, and contribute to the abolition of slavery. This collaborative effort not only liberated countless individuals but also set a precedent for international cooperation on humanitarian issues. Another narrative unfolds in the realm of political and economic changes. Ethiopia's diplomatic engagements fostered alliance and partnership that paved the way for political stability and economic development across Africa. By promoting regional cooperation, trade agreements, and diplomatic dialogue, Ethiopia contributed to the establishment of stronger and more resilient African nations. This in turn led to improved governance, economic growth, and increased opportunities for the people of Africa. In a sense, Ethiopia's long-standing diplomacy serves as a beacon of positive change in Africa, fostering freedom from oppression, political stability, and economic prosperity. Through its commitment to international collaboration and adherence to the principle of diplomacy, Ethiopia continues to shape the narrative of progress and development on the African continent. Such commendable diplomatic efforts of Ethiopia galvanized many African countries to fight against colonialism. Ethiopia has also played a major role to form the Organization of the African Unity, the current African Union, in collaboration with other African freedom fighters and movementers.
The memorandum of understanding that has been signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland for heralding a dawn of partnership and cooperation for access to sea and ports is creating active declamation in the Horn as well as in the world politics. The former U.S. Assistant Secretary for African Affairs, Jane Fraser, expressed her regret for not using her level best in pushing Somaliland to be an internationally recognized nation in the world. The former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo on his part said only Africans understood Ethiopia's unwavering contribution to enhance regional integration in the Horn of Africa. Haptam Washagre tells us more.
The recent memorandum of understanding that has been signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland for partnership and cooperation, particularly to access seaports, has been creating active political debate in the Horn region. The former Nigerian politician Olusegun Obasanjo said only Africans understood Ethiopia's unwavering ambition to secure vital sea access and expand its reach to seaports, ushering in a new era of enhanced cooperation and regional integration in the Horn of Africa. According to Obasanjo, maintaining the existing comparative peace and stability is crucial by controlling and protecting the unfair foreign hands in the region.
For me, as a friend of Somaliland, I believe it will be your responsibility to make the African community, all the countries in Africa, to understand your case, and beyond that, the international community to understand your case. And you have, if not an outstanding case, you have what I would call an excellent case. I believe that the difference between your country and Somalia is that there are too many outside hands in their pie. And that is why their pie is neither steady nor peaceful. You have comparative peace, comparative stability, comparative progress, and I will urge you to maintain it, sustain it.
Speaking at Harvard University Foreign Policy Dialogue, the former U.S. Assistant Secretary for Africa, Jane Fraser, confessed that she has failed not pushing Somaliland to get a sovereign nation.
One of my regrets as Assistant Secretary was that I didn't push hard enough for us to recognize Somaliland. I think we should have. And our policy was to not get ahead of the African Union. But when I push for that policy, it was because I thought that the African Union was there. And they were there. Something changed. And I can't explain exactly what changed. But if I had it to do again, and I know that it's very risky, it would be a very risky move, and it could lead to the instability that Dr. Corville is talking about. But if I had it to do again, I would push harder for Somaliland's recognition.
On 1st January 2024, a memorandum of understanding was signed between Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Somaliland President Musa Bihi Abdi. According to the Government Communication Service, this agreement presents Ethiopia with a golden opportunity to establish a permanent and dependable naval base and commercial maritime services in the Gulf of Aden through a lease arrangement.
Let me now remind you top stories of the hour. Ethiopia's long-hand diplomacy helps liberate Africa. Ethio Telecom posts 26% revenue growth in half year. That's all we have for the hour. Many thanks for listening. I'm Oscar Domat Nafu. You could stay here on EBC World.